There's a man who can't hide it. He's drawn to you in ways so subtle, even he might not fully grasp what he's doing. It's not just about how he speaks to you or the compliments he gives. It's deeper than that, woven into the way his eyes linger, the way his voice softens when he addresses you, and the way his body shifts ever so slightly when you enter the room. His actions betray him, even when his words do not. You might wonder, is he just being kind? Is this all in your imagination? But trust me, these aren't random gestures or coincidences. His behavior is a map, and when you learn to read it, you'll uncover truths he's too guarded, or perhaps too afraid to say out loud. Today, we'll pull back the curtain on the subtle, almost hidden behaviors that reveal a man's deepest, most unspoken feelings for you. These actions aren't just signs of attraction. They're confessions he doesn't even realize he's making. And once you recognize them, you'll never see him or his intentions the same way again. Welcome to another exploration of the mind, where we pull back the curtain on human nature. When a man feels an intense attraction to you, his actions, conscious and unconscious, will reveal far more than he'd ever say. These are not cliches or textbook signals. Instead, they're rooted in subtlety, restraint, and the paradox of vulnerability and control. Let's decode this together. 1. The mastery of his appearance. When a man is deeply attracted to you, one of the first things that will shift is his focus on his appearance. This isn't about vanity or superficiality. It's a subconscious response to wanting to make the best possible impression on someone he values. He wants to present himself as capable, desirable, and worthy of your attention, and his physical presentation becomes a key part of that effort. You may notice subtle adjustments in his grooming habits. Perhaps he pays more attention to how his hair is styled, his beard is trimmed, or his outfit is chosen. Even if he isn't typically someone who cares much about fashion, he might start wearing cleaner, more tailored, or more intentional clothing around you. This is his way of saying, without words, I care about how you see me. But it goes deeper than just clothing or hairstyle. The mastery of his appearance extends to how he carries himself. His posture becomes more upright and confident, shoulders back, chest slightly forward, and his movements more deliberate. He's trying to exude an air of composure and strength, hoping to catch your attention, not just with what he wears, but with how he inhabits his space. Even small habits like adjusting his watch, fixing his collar, or smoothing his shirt could become more pronounced around you. These aren't just nervous tics. They're microactions driven by an instinctive desire to align his outer appearance with the image he wants you to have of him. Interestingly, this heightened awareness of his appearance is often subconscious. He might not even realize he's doing it. That's what makes it so telling. His desire to impress you overrides his usual routines and behaviors. It's not about arrogance or trying to dominate a room. It's about silently competing for your attention, hoping to stand out to you. This behavior is rooted in evolutionary psychology. Throughout history, people have adjusted their appearance and demeanor to attract a mate or signal their value to someone they're drawn to. In modern relationships, this instinct remains, even in subtle ways. When you notice these shifts in how he presents himself, whether it's in his style, posture, or grooming, know that it's not random. It's a sign of how much he cares about the impression he leaves on you. You'll notice him adjusting his shirt or running his fingers through his hair, not out of vanity, but because consciously or not, he wants to present the best version of himself. It's his way of silently asking, "Am I enough for you?" 2. The intensity of his gaze. There's an old saying that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and nowhere is this truer than when a man feels deeply attracted to someone. His gaze becomes more than just a passing glance. It transforms into a silent conversation, one filled with emotions he may not even know how to articulate. The way a man looks at you when he is deeply drawn to you holds a power that words cannot replicate. When a man is captivated by you, his eyes often reveal what he's trying so hard to keep hidden. You'll notice him looking at you when he thinks you're not paying attention, almost as though he's afraid to get caught. Yet when your eyes meet, he might hold that gaze just a moment too long, as if he's reluctant to look away. This is because his attraction to you creates an unconscious need to connect, even if only for a fleeting second. That intensity isn't just a signal of interest, it's a glimpse into the deeper emotions he's feeling. One fascinating aspect of this kind of gaze is the mix of boldness and vulnerability it carries. On one hand, the intensity of his eye contact shows his confidence and desire to establish a connection. It's his way of saying without words, "I see you and you matter to me." On the other hand, there's an undeniable vulnerability in the way his eyes soften or light up when he looks at you. That vulnerability arises because he knows that this gaze is revealing a part of himself he can't fully control. Psychologists often talk about the phenomenon of pupil dilation as a subconscious indicator of attraction. When someone is deeply interested in you, their pupils tend to enlarge, especially during moments of prolonged eye contact. This is a physiological response tied to heightened emotions and excitement, making it a subtle but powerful cue that you can look for. Another key component of an intense gaze is its ability to linger. It's not just about the duration of the look, but the way it makes you feel. A man who is deeply attracted to you doesn't merely look at you. He looks into you. His gaze has a way of making you feel seen in a way that's both thrilling and disarming. It can create a sense of intimacy that words struggle to achieve. However, this intensity isn't always sustained or constant. Sometimes the weight of his feelings might cause him to look away. This momentary retreat isn't a sign of disinterest. It's the opposite. It's his way of managing the overwhelming emotions he feels in your presence. He might look down, adjust his focus, or busy himself with something else to regain composure. But inevitably, his gaze will return to you, drawn back by the magnetic pull of his attraction. The intensity of a man's gaze when he's deeply drawn to you is one of the most honest and unguarded expressions of his feelings. It's not always loud or overt, but it speaks volumes. Once you learn to recognize and interpret this silent language, you'll discover the truth he's been communicating all along without saying a word. Pay attention to the moments where his eyes seem to speak for him. In those instances, he's revealing emotions he's too guarded or too unsure to put into words. 3. The use of silence. Silence is a powerful tool, often underestimated in its ability to communicate emotions, intentions, and desires. When a man is deeply attracted to you, his use of silence isn't an accident. It's a deliberate, albeit subconscious strategy. He's not filling every moment with words or trying to impress you with constant chatter. Instead, his silence speaks volumes creating a space that is rich with tension and meaning. At first glance, this silence might seem like awkwardness or hesitation, but it's far more intentional. A man who feels a profound connection with you is often battling an internal conflict, the desire to express himself versus the fear of vulnerability. Silence becomes his way of maintaining composure, while still allowing you to feel his presence. He knows that words once spoken can be misinterpreted or inadequate. Silence, on the other hand, leaves room for interpretation and creates a deeper, more magnetic bond. The psychology behind silence. Silence in attraction stems from the psychological principle of scarcity. When someone is less vocal, they naturally appear more mysterious and intriguing. This mystery sparks curiosity, leading you to wonder what he's thinking, feeling, or even hiding. A man deeply drawn to you uses silence as a tool to draw you in, creating an emotional vacuum that you can't help but want to fill. This isn't manipulation. It's the natural ebb and flow of emotional connection. Moreover, silence allows him to maintain control. Speaking often requires revealing thoughts and emotions. And for someone who values restraint and composure, silence is a shield. It's a way for him to remain enigmatic while also giving you the space to lean closer, both emotionally and physically. The intensity of silent moments. Pay close attention to the silent moments shared between you. These pauses in conversation are often filled with tension, not the uncomfortable kind, but a palpable energy that suggests something unspoken. For instance, you may notice him maintaining eye contact during these silences. His gaze becomes steady, almost searching, as if he's trying to communicate something words cannot capture. These moments are heavy with meaning, and they are often the ones you remember most vividly. It's also in these silences that he might exhibit subtle physical cues. A slight adjustment in posture, a deep breath, or even a faint smile can say more than 1,000 words. He's using nonverbal communication to express what he struggles to articulate. His admiration, respect, and the depth of his feelings for you. How silence builds intimacy. Silence, when shared between two people, can create an atmosphere of intimacy that words sometimes disrupt. It's in these quiet moments that you both become fully present, tuned into each other without distractions. A man who is deeply attracted to you instinctively understands this. He uses silence not to distance himself, but to foster a connection that feels genuine and profound. In the end, his silence is an invitation, one that asks you to look beyond the surface, to understand his emotions in a way that transcends language. It's in these silent spaces that his true feelings reveal themselves, waiting for you to recognize and reciprocate them. Silence allows him to maintain control, while simultaneously creating an atmosphere of intimacy. It's a delicate balance between strength and vulnerability, a hallmark of Stoic psychology. 4. Protective behavior. The instinct to shield and guard. When a man is deeply attracted to you, one of the most primal and revealing signs is his protective behavior. This isn't always dramatic or overt, like stepping in front of danger or fighting off a threat. Instead, it's often subtle and instinctive, rooted in an ancient drive to guard and care for someone he values deeply. Understanding this protective instinct can give you profound insight into how much he genuinely cares about you. Attraction at this level often activates what psychologists call the caretaker instinct, This is a subconscious urge to ensure your safety, comfort, and well-being. While it might seem like a small thing on the surface, it's a powerful sign of emotional investment. You'll notice this protective behavior in the little things he does. Holding out his arm when crossing the street, guiding you gently through a crowded room, or even standing slightly closer to you when someone else is interacting with you. These actions are subtle but intentional. Physical proximity as protection. One of the most common manifestations of protective behavior is how he positions himself around you. If he's deeply attracted to you, he'll often subconsciously place himself between you and perceived threats, even if they're minor or imaginary. For example, he might sit or stand closer to you in public spaces, subtly acting as a barrier between you and others. This isn't about controlling your environment, but about creating a sense of safety and connection. Even in non-threatening situations, he may guide your movements subtly. For instance, placing a hand on your back as you walk through a crowded area or offering his arm when the ground is uneven. These small gestures are not just courteous. They're instinctual ways of saying, "I'm here for you. I've got you." Emotional support as protection. Protection doesn't always manifest physically. It's also emotional. A man who is deeply attracted to you will often go out of his way to shield you from unnecessary stress or discomfort. For instance, he might offer solutions to your problems, help ease your workload, or simply listen attentively when you're venting about something that's bothering you. While this may seem like simple kindness, it's his way of trying to create a safe emotional space for you, a place where you can let your guard down and feel supported. Watch for subtle signs. The beauty of protective behavior is in its subtlety. He might not even realize he's doing it, which makes it all the more genuine. Does he step in to help when you're carrying something heavy? Does he pay close attention to your surroundings when you're out together, ensuring you're comfortable? These seemingly small acts speak volumes about how much he values you, the protective instinct, and its boundaries. It's essential to note that genuine protective behavior is rooted in care and respect, not control. A man who is deeply attracted to you will not overstep boundaries or try to dominate your choices under the guise of protection. Instead, his actions will feel natural and supportive, creating a sense of safety without stifling your independence. In conclusion, protective behavior is a clear, instinctual indicator of a man's deep attraction to you. It's his way of showing that he values and prioritizes you, often without saying a word. By observing these actions, you can gain a deeper understanding of his feelings and intentions. Recognizing these subtle cues requires careful observation and a bit of intuition. Pay attention to the moments when his reactions seem unguarded, when his smile lingers just a second too long, when his gaze holds yours even as he tries to look away, or when his gestures seem more open and inviting around you than with others. These behaviors may seem small, but they are powerful indicators of a deeper, unspoken attraction. By understanding microexpressions and body language, you unlock a new level of communication, one that operates beyond words. In these silent, fleeting moments, a man's true feelings are laid bare, giving you the clarity to see what he might never have the courage to say aloud. Understanding these behaviors gives you insight into not just what he feels, but how deeply he feels it. Attraction this profound isn't loud or boastful. It's quiet, deliberate, and unrelenting. Once you see these signs, you'll know without a doubt how he truly feels about you If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Muse for more insightful explorations into the psychology of human behavior, attraction, and the unspoken dynamics that shape our lives. Here, we delve into the quiet truths that most overlook, because the quietest actions often speak the loudest. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay mindful, and keep uncovering the deeper layers of human connection